Welcome to the Buck Brief, everybody. Our friend John Cardillo back in the mix, former NYPD, conservative commentator, entrepreneur, and a man once described by the Daily Beast as an unregistered international arms dealer, which is the coolest thing any of my friends have ever been called to this day. Mr. Cardillo, good to see you, buddy.
Great to see you, my friend. What's happening?
You know, just trying to figure out what's going on here in America. Let's start with the national security, and then we'll get into the politics. So as you and I speak, the Secret Service director has resigned. I think we expected that. How do you fix this problem? You were an NYPD guy, law enforcement guy. You have tremendous connections in that community. How do you fix something when it seems like the problem was so obvious and there are failures? You see what I'm saying? It's not like this was, we need to adjust our tactics. This is the most obvious thing imaginable for the Secret Service as a threat. What do you think?
Yeah, like I've been saying on air, for the better part of a week now, this is just baffling to those of us who've ever worked in law enforcement, have a little bit of experience with executive protection, Buck. I mean, it's really mind-blowing. I mean, their lack of action, I don't want to call their actions, their lack of action, their inaction really defied Secret Service doctrine for more than half a century. I mean, you secure the high ground. That's the first thing you do, right? You post either uniformed personnel or plainclothes personnel at any critical point. I mean, just for example, if the president of the United States is going to visit New York City and they go to, say, the Waldorf, every door and every stairwell in that hotel has a law enforcement officer within. Could be Secret Service, Homeland Security Investigations, FBI, NYPD. Every means of ingress and egress is secured. So they're not of a rooftop with a line of sight directly to the former president. It just baffles everybody. And one quick thing about her resignation. If a commander in the United States Navy had command of a ship and they got too close to a reef, they'd be relieved of command that evening. A man died, a fire chief, who died protecting his family, and the former president was almost killed. And Cheadle, Secret Service director, defiantly stayed in her job for a week. I mean, it was so arrogant and unprecedented. So how do you fix it? Well, the first things you want to do in an investigation is to figure out who was supposed to give the order to secure the roof and supposed to give the snipers the green light to fire before they fired, right? Nobody should have been killed or injured here. That's the most egregious thing. So you start there and then you work your way back. And normally with internal affairs, or they call it IG in the federal government, or OPR, normally what they would do in a case like this, because it's so egregious, they would dangle those 1001 violations over their heads for false statements. Things people from the Trump administration were actually convicted on back in 2017. So you dangle those false statement federal charges over the heads of those you're interviewing, because this is a federal investigation, right? This was the attempted murder of a federal protectee, so this is federal now. You're going to dangle those 1001 violations to get to the truth. But that's assuming you have investigators who are actually tasked with finding out the truth and not potentially burying it. And I really don't know which way to go now.
What do you think if you were to pinpoint an area of failure here that should get more attention, right? Obviously, securing the rooftop, fine. But in terms of the comms, in terms of the target recognition of this individual as somebody who posed a threat, what else do you think people should be aware of to give them a sense of the scope of the failure?
I'm glad you brought that up. That's a really interesting nuance, and one we don't see being spoken about, is target acquisition. So you find that most tactical teams, definitely the Secret Service, but even county sheriff's departments, and even small town police departments with a SWAT team, the military pretty much has an open door policy to them coming in and training. A lot of these guys cross-train with the military. I live here in Fort Lauderdale. I know Broward County SWAT will often train with Tier 1, not just Tier 2 special operators, SEALs and Green Berets. They'll train with Dev Group, SEAL Team 6, when those trainings are offered. And so if you talk to any military sniper, and you know this from your days back at CIA, target acquisition is what many will tell you was the hardest part of sniper school, because of the way that these targets are hidden and obfuscated against buildings that might be the same color or transparency. So that, to me, is one of the biggest failures here, because most police departments, every military unit, target acquisition is such a heavy component, an extensive and exhaustive component of their training. And we had a grown man, a 20-year-old grown man with a long gun on a rooftop, a white rooftop, that he was contrasted against and nobody saw this threat for nearly a half hour. That makes no sense to anyone, Buck. No sense at all.
I just don't understand. I mean, people come to me with conspiracies about this, John, and I don't buy the conspiracies because I don't have proof that that's what happened, but I also can't quiet their sense that something worse happened here because I can't look them in the eye and say that, yeah, I mean, this is under the circumstances, the failures of the Secret Service here, nobody's perfect. I mean, this isn't a nobody's perfect situation. This is a, what do you guys even do here to the Secret Service, right? Like, what would you say your job is?
Right, this should be mission critical. I mean, if there's any entity in the world that should have a zero tolerance standard for failure, it should be the United States Secret Service on a protective detail. Look, here's the other question I have that no one can seem to answer. Why did the sniper team that we've been seeing in photos, the ones 140 yards away from Crooks, the shooter, why didn't they take the shot? But instead, the green light was given to a sniper team on the flank 400 and some odd yards away, almost a quarter mile away. Does that make sense to anyone? I don't know the answer to that. Nobody seems to.
Yeah. No, that's an excellent point, too. Why would the further team be given the green light first when the team that we all could see that was right there looked like they were right and looked like they were sitting on the target, basically, like with the sights on. Anyway, we'll find out.
With iron sights. I mean, the guys that we saw in the photos didn't even need scopes, optics on their weapons. They could have made that shot with iron sights. It defies all logic.
Yeah. All right. Look, we'll come back into the politics of the moment here in a second with our friend John Cardillo. But, a good friend of mine and business partner, Porter Stansberry, did something recently you should know about. He's a multimillionaire, and he's built one of the most successful financial research firms in the country. But he cut his compensation publicly. He's the CEO of a public company. He cut his compensation to just $1 a year. Now, why would he do that? He says it's because he wants to show you a better way to save and get paid. Porter's found what he calls a new form of money in America that's making some people wildly rich. It's not gold or Bitcoin. Porter says what's interesting is that while every American is legally entitled to use this secret currency, few know much about it. But now Porter's hoping to change that. He says the way our government is destroying the U.S. dollar, it's critical to understand how America's new money works. He believes it's the most critical way to protect and grow wealth in the years to come. I strongly recommend you check out Porter's latest detailed presentation online at secretcurrency2024.com. That's secretcurrency2024.com. All right, John, the question for me of the day in politics here, I wanted to pose it to you. Are conservatives underestimating Kamala Harris as an opponent for Trump, or have they already basically conceded on the left that Kamala's going to get crushed and it's just about down ballot protection? What do you think?
I think both. I think we'd be remiss by underestimating her for the simple reason that you and I both know the corporate media, the left-wing corporate media, is going to probably extend about $1 billion in earned media reinventing Kamala as the greatest thing since sliced bread. Whoever she picks as a VP, I happen to think the two front runners, I could be wrong, are Mark Kelly, the senator from Arizona, and Beshear, the Kentucky governor. And they're going to work overtime painting her VP choice as the greatest thing since the invention of the wheel. The Dems also have a better ground game than we do, and they always have. They focused on that. So what I think we should be doing right now is defining Kamala right out of the gate. And if she's not the nominee, great. And then day one of whoever it is, we define them as the worst thing for America. But at the same time, putting the most robust ground game America has ever seen in place for the GOP. Because I'm going to say it like this. Democrats just removed the sitting president from his presidential run. They forced him out. These people will do anything to win. They are going to throw every dollar at a win, and we have to be better, smarter, and faster. But yeah, I think underestimating anybody right now would be a very serious mistake.
I got to say, I'm concerned that conservatives, the Republicans, are going to try to use Kamala's record as a prosecutor against her. I think that's a dumb move. I think that Kamala being tough on crime is something that will play well with the national electorate, and that looking at her as an opportunist in 2020 when it came to BLM and the rioters and how she was very supportive of all that because it was politically expedient for her, that should be the direction, not 20 years ago in San Francisco, she was locking up criminals. I look at people when they bring this up. I'm like, what team do you think you're playing for? Locking up criminals is a good thing.
I posted that. Great minds, Buck. I posted that.
Oh, really? Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah. I put it out. I said, look, one of the mistakes Team Trump is making is painting Kamala as tough on crime. She's making him look tougher. Trump's making Kamala look tougher than her. What they should be doing is reminding everybody that as we sit here today, Kamala is still allowing her likeness to be used by a bail fund for violent felons that was set up after Antifa and BLM burned down cities. They should be reminding everybody that she's effectively the border czar, as our borders are porous and illegal aliens are raping American women and children. We should not be talking about her being tough on crime. We should paint her as a radical pro-criminal candidate. You're 100% right.
Well, tell everybody at home about Bear Creek Arsenal for a second. They make high-performance firearms in North Carolina. Fantastic company. Great guns. John's a gun guy. He knows. Bear Creek Arsenal. 26 calibers available on the website, including the recently released 8.6 Blackout. They even offer a limited lifetime warranty. I've got Bear Creek Arsenal ARs at home. I've got 9mm sidearm pistols at home. And they're accurate, reliable, and so affordable. You cannot beat the price that Bear Creek Arsenal can produce these top quality guns. Right now, Bear Creek Arsenal is running some incredible sales for July. So if you're considering investing in a new firearm this summer, don't wait. Go to bearcreekarsenal.com. Use my coupon code BUCK for 10% off your order. That's bearcreekarsenal.com. Coupon code BUCK for 10% off your order. So, John, are you feeling good about the election right now? I just wanted your 30,000-foot thoughts here to close us out.
Yeah, I feel pretty good right now. I mean, we're going to have to see what kind of fiasco the Dem convention is, but I think we've got a strong ticket. And if they keep their eye on the ball and they message well, I think we've got a very good shot. I mean, Kamala's unlikable. I don't think she draws the votes they think she does. It's going to be interesting to see who she picks as VP. More interesting to see if she's even the eventual nominee. But right now, yeah, I feel pretty good.
John Cardillo, everybody, follow him on X and look for his excellent commentary there. John, I'll see you at dinner tomorrow, my friend. Happy birthday to you, by the way. John Cardillo birthday, everybody. Exciting stuff.
Thanks, brother. Good to see you, Buck.
Good to see you.
It.